Let's bring you more on our top story now. The West Midlands Police and Crime Commissioner calling for an immediate review of the decision to ban Maccabi Tel Aviv fans from attending a match in Birmingham next month over safety concerns. The Prime Minister's criticised the move, calling it wrong. Let's bring in independent MP for Birmingham Perry Barr, Ayoub Khan, who called for Villa to boycott the match. Good to have you with us. Appreciate you sharing your time. Like I say in the introduction, lots of condemnation of the decision from the Prime Minister, from the Conservatives calling it a national disgrace, from the Liberal Democrats calling it a serious mistake. Why are those politicians wrong? And in your opinion, you're correct?
Well, I think them calling this out a disgrace is a disgrace itself, to be frank. We have had a safety advisory group here in Birmingham, along with West Midlands Police, analyse the information they have. Clearly, they're not going to disclose that to the public. This is something which has happened over a few months, not a decision taken lightly, and they have deemed this match as high risk, and they've made their position clear. I support the West Midlands Police. I support that independent, impartial board of experts. The Prime Minister and other parliamentarians don't, and they shouldn't actually get involved in operational matters to start off with.
If the Prime Minister, though, is to ensure the protection of people across the country, is it not right that the Prime Minister gets involved in matters such as this?
Well, I mean, I've got two very strong views on this. The first is one of safety of not just residents, local businesses, fans and staff that work here at the ground. But I've also got a moral argument. We've banned teams from Russia, for example, because of their involvement in Ukraine. Here, I firmly believe that we should have that moral equivalence. The banning of Maccabi Tel Aviv would send a strong signal to a nation that's responsible for a genocide.
This is two separate situations, though, is it not, with respect? You're talking now about safety and security and an independent advisory group making a decision over the course of months. And now you're bringing in the point of a moral equivalence and the point of the war and the point of Russia and Ukraine. That's not what was originally your original first point. So there's two elements to play.
My petition... there are two elements, and I've made that very clear throughout, that A, it's in relation to the safety, that's prime, as far as I'm concerned. The second is the moral argument. But at present, we know that the Safety Advisory Group here in Birmingham have made their position very clear, and we should support them. We shouldn't get involved in operational matters. Politicians should draw that line in the sand, and unfortunately, the Prime Minister hasn't.
Lord John Mann, the government's independent advisor on anti-Semitism, has said that he has provided advice to the police and Birmingham Council, and from his perspective, that's been ignored. He's pointed to the fact that evidence has been put forward and that both clubs want their fans to be there and are fully cooperating with making it happen. Why do you think, if his argument is the case, that his advice has been ignored?
Well, first of all, let's not conflate the issue. This is not about the Jewish community. This is about hooligans. We've seen what's taken place in Amsterdam. The night before the match, the chanting, the vile racist chanting, the fact that there were no schools left in Gaza because there are no children left. Amsterdam Council have made a decision that they are not going to allow that team to enter their city. They've taken that stance based on what they have seen. I don't think many of these politicians have actually seen or are watching this in a very blinkered way, and there's no consistency in what they are saying. We need to be consistent. We need to be supporting our local authorities in the decisions they make.
You referenced there the game that was November of last year, 2024, Ajax versus Maccabi Tel Aviv. 62 arrests following that. 49 Dutch, 10 Israelis, 5 injuries were all minor, all Israelis, and there was discourse, there was confrontation, there was violence from both perspectives. It feels some, I'm sure, will say that it's all being pointed on the side of the Israeli fans. What do you say to the people that feel as though you talk about conflation, that maybe the prior events have been conflated into an argument to support what some might want to see happen now, and that is the Israeli fans not being able to attend in Villa?
Well, let's just put context in relation to that match, because I think we haven't had a proper contextual story in relation to that. The night before the match began, we saw Maccabi fans tear down flags. We saw them destroy property. We've learnt about private eye drivers that were attacked. And then we saw what took place on the following day. Now, I'm not saying that there wasn't any vile attacks by residents that live in Amsterdam. Clearly there was. But this is something which the Safety Advisory Group no doubt would have looked into in great detail. And they've made that decision. I'm supporting their decision. The Prime Minister should be supporting the West Midlands Police and not just jumping to false narratives.
There is a long-held process for events where police forces need additional resources to call for mutual aid, mutual assistance. And if West Midlands, after this potential renewed meeting that's been called for by the Police and Crime Commissioner of the region, say, look, can we call on other forces to provide more support, more facility, more capacity? If that is provided by, let's say, just for argument's sake, West Yorkshire Police or Cumbria Police, for example, would you support the game going ahead if that security can be provided?
No, I wouldn't. And I've given you my moral position, where we have had more than 800 athletes massacred in Gaza, more than 350 footballers. Mr. Salami, a 41-year-old professional footballer, killed whilst he was waiting for food. I think there's a moral argument, and that's why I obviously take in consideration the advice of the experts here, but I've got that moral sense where I feel that they shouldn't be allowed to play in international competitions.
For anybody looking to the future, Birmingham expected to host matches at Euro 28 when the UK holds the tournament. Will this decision impact the processes that take place to hold those matches? Because if we can't convince teams that they can be safe now, can we do that in 2028 in Birmingham?
This is, as I say, it's an operational matter. The advisory committee deals with case-by-case scenarios. If they have deemed this match as high risk, one which they will find extremely challenging to police, that's a decision they've made. I suspect it's unlikely with other teams. They've just seen the violence of Maccabi Tel Aviv fans in Amsterdam, and I think that goes to a long part of their decision-making process.
Joining us live in Birmingham, independent MP for Birmingham Perry Barr, Ayoub Khan. Good to have you with us. Thank you.